Just ahead on CTV News.
Broken pipes are impacting residents in Prince George's and Montgomery counties. I'm Katara Jones. I'll have all those details coming up on CTV News.
Plus, the Commanders make a historic playoff win.
It could have went either way. It was all in the hands of God, but I thank God that it did go through, because I don't think I could have took it overtime.
And a community gathers to honor the life of a murdered parole officer. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, this is CTV News for January 13th. I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Our top story tonight, WSSC Water has been working nonstop to address the growing number of water main breaks in Prince George's and Montgomery counties. CTV's Katara Jones is at the scene where a pipe broke, forcing the water utility company to cut off water to impacted customers.
That's right, Michaela. I'm on the intersection of Beacon Light Road and Farman Parkway in Riverdale. And just deep in those woods behind me are crews from WSSC Water working to repair a 24-inch pipe. Now, officials say customers in this community can expect to lose water while crews are making those repairs. This scene in Riverdale is just an example of what's been happening all across Prince George's and Montgomery counties. Since this morning, crews have been working on a total of 63 breaks and leaks that span from Prince George's to Montgomery. Now, due to the high volume of broken pipes and leaks, the water utility company is asking its 1.9 million customers to conserve water. So what does this mean for residents at home? Well, they are asking you to use water only when necessary, to limit flushing the toilet, and to limit the use of a washing machine and dishwasher. Residents can report any broken pipes or running water to WSSC Water's Emergency Services Center. That number is 301-206-4002. Katara Jones, CTV News.
All right, Katara, thanks so much. Meanwhile, WSSC Water officials want to also remind customers that their water is safe and that there is no need to boil your water. Meanwhile, the Washington Commanders put together another late game win. This time, a 36-yard field goal from Zane Gonzalez secured the Commanders' first playoff win in 20 years, knocking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of the playoffs. And it's safe to say that Commanders fans are excited.
It was a fantastic game. I'm a Washingtonian. You know, I've been rooting for the Redskins now, the Washington football team, now the Commanders now for like 60 years. So the outcome was what, was appealing to me.
It could have went either way. It was all in the hands of God, but I thank God that it did go through, because I don't think I could have took it overtime.
To have a new organization, pretty much the whole from the owners down to different players, I think we're doing a great job for the first year. Clearly, we have the foundation in the young quarterback.
Now with Jaden Daniels, he gives everybody hope. DC is like you have never seen it before. It's like Lazarus has been raised from the grave. Everybody excited.
I think we've already had a successful season already. But I'm looking forward. I don't want to stop. I don't want to quit. So I hope we keep on going.
Up next, the Commanders will be on the road to take on the Detroit Lions, and Simon Buggs will be giving us a play-by-play. Well, a Montgomery County firefighter dies in the line of duty, sending shockwaves through the community. 46-year-old Christopher Higgins, a 23-year veteran of the department, collapsed while responding to a house fire on Bradford Drive in Laurel Saturday night. Now, Higgins was working outside the home when he suffered a medical emergency. Despite efforts to save him, he was pronounced dead at White Oak Hospital. The fire consumed the carport and spread to the house, prompting aid from Prince George's firefighters. Fire Chief Corey Smedley remembered Higgins as a devoted mentor and family man.
Not only was he a mentor here in the department, Chris was it was in his blood to serve his community. He was part of Anne Arundel Volunteer System, and he's a life member there.
Chris was loved. Chris was a fireman, one of our best. I can't say enough good things about him. He was a dear friend, He knew my family. We knew his family, his wife, our kids. We spent holidays together. One of the best, right? It's very unfortunate. Excuse me. Tough situation, but we are glad to have a leadership team that's supporting our folks and supporting our crews, and we're going to continue to work together to just keep moving forward.
And Higgins leaves behind a wife and 2 children. Acting Prince George's County Executive Tara Jackson issued a statement expressing condolences to his family. And a vigil is set for tonight to honor the Maryland parole agent who was killed during a home visit last year. 33-year-old Davis Martinez was conducting a home visit of Emmanuel Sewell back on March 31st. Now, Sewell was a registered sex offender who was living in an apartment in Chevy Chase. Martinez's body was ultimately found wrapped in a plastic bag inside Sewell's apartment. The vigil will take place on Lawyers Mall beginning at 7 p.m. in Annapolis. And the Union American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, or AFSCME, Maryland, will be pushing for Maryland lawmakers to pass the Davis-Martinez Public Employee Safety and Health Act, which, if passed, would better protect parole agents. And after a whirlwind 2 years, Maryland Governor Wes Moore is about to face his biggest challenge yet, a $3 billion gap in the state's next budget. Now, there are no easy solutions. New taxes, deep cuts, or tapping reserves are all on the table. The decisions Moore and lawmakers make will affect millions of Marylanders and could impact his re-election prospects in 2026, especially if tax hikes are involved. As a rising national figure, Moore has a lot at stake. And agencies across Maryland are outlining their promises to reduce carbon emissions, easing the state's impact on climate change. Now, the plans deliver on Governor Wes Moore's executive order on climate last year, which directed agencies to develop their own climate implementation plans. And that they did, agencies ranging from the Department of Natural Resources to the Department of Labor. The Department of Transportation's plans include developing electric vehicle infrastructure, mitigating traffic congestion, promoting transit use, and making communities less reliant on cars. Now, the Moore administration says it has set a set of metrics to track progress on these policies and will be doing so regularly. Well, Donald Trump and Republican lawmakers have lofty goals for the president's second administration, which kicks off a week from today. They have an ambitious agenda, and not much stands in their way as they have control over both chambers of Congress. To get as much done as possible in the next 100 days, GOP lawmakers will try to push Trump's priorities through spending plan bills, which only need a simple majority in the Senate. Now, those priorities include immigration reform. Trump's plans include rounding up undocumented immigrants and deporting them, and extending tax cuts to the upper class, which Trump instated in his first term and are set to expire at the end of this year. You're watching CTV News. I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, residents at a Laurel condominium received some good news over the weekend.
No tears, but cheers today at the Cheers of Laurel Lakes condominium complex. I'm Byron Scott. Will explain coming up.
Mom, did you really need to buy 2 can openers for our emergency kit?
I can't help it. They're 2 for 1.
What's this?
We need to keep our family communication plan safe in case of an emergency.
Thanks, Tita.
Oh, man. Well, good thing we kept all the lights we used for Diwali.
I've got the battery pack.
Keep my phone powered so we don't miss any alerts.
What about game night?
Sounds good.
Oh, we have to get to Mom and Dad's and get them somewhere safe. I've got the evacuation route loaded on my phone.
I've got an updated list of Dad's meds.
And I've got just what we need to get them to take this seriously.
If that doesn't convince them that we thought this through, I don't know what would.
Start a conversation with your family and plan together for emergencies.
Welcome back. A collective sigh of relief from residents of a Laurel condominium complex. City officials say long-standing code violations forced them to impose a vacate order by January 10th. But as Byron Scott reports, the order was lifted at the 11th hour.
I was going to just move out.
Ron Gill has lived at the Tiers at Laurel Lakes condominiums for 2.5 years, but a few months ago he suddenly learned he'd have to move out.
I was very concerned and everything there because really I didn't have another place to stay at there. I'm just going to have to maybe, stay at some, like a extended stay or something like that.
Code violations at the complex go back years. As we told you in November, the main issue was the stairs. Dozens of stairwells.
They were corroded.
Alex Totoriano says they were in bad shape.
You could see in between the steps. They would move around if you had too much weight on them.
In 2021, inspectors identified 58 staircases in need of repair or replacement to meet safety standards. By September of 2024, 49 of 58 were still out of compliance. An infusion of money from the American Rescue Plan allowed work to proceed. Then, on last Friday, following another inspection, the city rescinded the vacate order. Well, now that you can stay, what's your reaction?
I'm happy about it. I mean, obviously, because we just moved in here in August of last year, so I don't know, it was just weird instantly from the beginning.
Signs like this remain all around the property. Materials are at the ready to finish the job. According to the city, work will continue through March of 2026. For the residents, a collective sigh of relief.
I was definitely relieved when I found that out there.
Byron Scott, CTV News.
And residents are being advised to stay in contact with the property management as the repairs proceed. Well, Prince George's police need your help finding a person of interest for a triple shooting in Clinton over the weekend. Police are on the hunt for 66-year-old Alfonso Brown in connection to the shooting on Saturday afternoon, sending 2 men and a woman to the hospital. The shooting happened inside of a home at the 8800 block of Clayton Lane. Now, at this time, police do not believe this was a random crime, and a motive is still under investigation. But anyone with any information on Brown's whereabouts is asked to contact police. And the Maryland State Police have agreed to a $2.7 million settlement in a civil rights lawsuit over hiring tests that were set to unfairly disqualify women and African-American applicants. The lawsuit claimed that the tests weren't job-related and violated civil rights laws. Now, while the state police deny any wrongdoing, they've agreed to settle, switch to lawful tests, and provide monetary awards and priority hiring to those affected. Now, they'll hire 25 individuals who failed the test, offering retroactive seniority and a bonus. The settlement still needs court approval, with a fairness hearing set for March 10th, and anyone who wants to object has until January 20th to do so. And Americans will welcome a new commander-in-chief next week when Donald Trump becomes president for the second time. His administration has promised to bring major changes to immigration policy, the economy, and to the federal workforce. Now, more than 100,000 federal workers live in Maryland, and nearly 400,000 live across the DMV. Thousands of workers that could have their lives turned upside down. Now, besides cutting some of those jobs, Trump has also said he'd like to relocate thousands to different regions with lower costs of living. In addition to the direct effect on workers, the cuts could also have significant impact on the Washington area's economy. And tax season 2025 is just a few months away, and it could look a lot different. And that's thanks to the launch of the IRS new Direct File program, where millions of Americans can file directly with them rather than going through another service. But that might be the end for the agency's new rollouts as they brace for spending cuts from the new Republican administration. 30 GOP lawmakers have called on President-elect Donald Trump to kill Direct File on his first day in office, and this will be Maryland's first year having access to Direct File if it sticks around. And still to come on CTV News.
And don't go anywhere, because if you're looking for new ways to get fit at home in 2025, stay right here. We got Darian from Vive Fit Studios. We'll be right back.
The doctor said I only had a 29% chance to find you. But I knew you were out there. Every night, even when my heart was sad, I wished for you to sign up. I got so sick that I couldn't go to school, but I still made people laugh. But when we matched, it was the best day ever. Dear donor, your blood stem cells saved me from leukemia. Thank you forever and ever and ever. Sincerely, Owen.
Experience the true joy of saving a life at nmdp.org.
You may have heard that the American Legion helps honor our fallen heroes.
Or that the American Legion helped write the GI Bill, enabling veterans to get a college education.
And yeah, you've heard us tell a good story or two.
But did you know that the American Legion does so much more for our veterans?
From advocacy on Capitol Hill to serving others in our communities, the American Legion continues its tradition of strengthening America through service.
Learn more about supporting veterans in your community by visiting legion.org.
Maryland has confirmed its first case of bird flu in over a year, found at a Caroline County farm through routine testing. The H5N1 virus was recently detected at 2 farms in Delaware as well, but this is a first case at a Maryland poultry farm since 2023 and the third in the Delmarva region in the past month. Now, state officials have quarantined the farm and are culling thousands of chickens to prevent the virus from spreading. Experts warn that bird flu could evolve into a more dangerous strain with the potential for broader health concerns. And insect lovers, listen up. Cicadas are making a comeback this summer. The periodical cicadas are expected to tunnel out of their underground homes of the past 17 years this spring or early summer. Now, it won't be as terrifying as last year when we witnessed a rare dual cicada emergence. Now, typically, it's safe for cicadas to come out of the ground when the soil 8 inches below the surface reaches 64 degrees. Usually this happens from mid-April to mid-May, but with the severity of this winter, that may change. And if you're looking for ways to stay fit in 2025, we have just what you need. Bryce and Darian are back in CTV studios with another workout to help us stay active.
So we're back in CTV studios with certified personal trainer Darian from Vibe Fit Studios. Darian, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well, can't complain. You know, last time, we did cardio, full body. I'm trying to get my legs strong. I want to have a really strong base going into 2025. What's some things I can do at home?
Absolutely, absolutely. I love at-home workouts because they're super easy to do. All you need is a drive to want to do it and just get up and start doing it. So one thing we're going to do is a squat. A squat is a super simple exercise. You do it every time you sit down, get up, simple things. So we're going to have our legs spread apart, shoulder width. We're going to drive your glutes down, opening those knees as you go down and coming all the way up. Yep, just like that. You got it already. Good. We're going to do 3 more of these. And 3. Good. Opening those knees. 2. Good. And 1. There you go. Good job.
Definitely was feeling in my quad. So, I want to get, some better stability, making sure that I'm not, tipping over when it's windy outside like it is today, So what are some things I can work on and just work on that balance?
Yes. Okay. So working on your balance and your stability is something you have to make sure that you incorporate into your exercises to help you, like you said, with everyday things of life, with walking and things like that, especially as we get older. So one exercise you can do to help you with that is called a reverse lunge into a march. Okay. So we're going to have that same stance that we did before. We're going to drive that knee down, coming back one leg at a time. When we come up, we're going to use our core and come to a march on that one leg. Very good.
Yeah, we got to squeeze the core on this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and bring that leg down. We're going to switch to the other side, working on that stability with one leg at a time. Balance. Good. And down. Good. Other side. We're going to do 3 more. 3. Core. And down. Yes, using that core to keep that leg up. 2. Core. Good job. And down. Last one. 1. Use your core. And down. Good job.
Thank you. So, going into the new year, I might have asked for some dumbbells for Christmas, and I got them just laying around at the house. How can I incorporate this into my at-home workouts as well?
Absolutely. So I love working with things like dumbbells, resistance bands, things like that, because they take your workouts up an extra notch, just because. So we have some dumbbells here. We're going to incorporate them. We're going to do something called a RDL, which is a Romanian deadlift. This is a hinge exercise. Okay. So you're going to hinge at your hips, pushing your hips back, but making sure that your hips stay elevated into the ceiling. So when you go down, you're going to hold your dumbbells right in front of you, push your hips back, making sure they stay high, pull down, and come up. Very good. We're going to do that again. You should feel that in the back of your legs, which are your hamstrings. We're going to do 3 more. 3. Making sure your back stays nice and straight. 2. Good job. Pushing back. keeping the tailbone high, and 1.
Yes,
Good
Darian
job.
knows what she's doing because I definitely felt a stretch in my hamstrings. Darian, thank you so much for joining us again. Again, you can find Darian at Vibe Fit Studios on Instagram and TikTok. Back to you in the studio. Let's get fit in 2025.
All right, thanks so much. And stay with CTV News for more fitness tips because Bryce and Darian will be back in the studio very soon. Now it's time for our Metro Minute. The county's Office of Human Resources Management has appointed a new acting director, Ms. Valerie Farrer. She has more than 25 years of human resources experience, and she says she is thrilled to step into the new role. Meanwhile, the county's Chamber of Commerce is hosting its annual The State of the Chamber with this year's theme, Chamber Forward, a 2025 look ahead. Key topics include strengthening partnerships, driving advocacy, and advancing economic opportunities in the county. And the long-anticipated demolition of RFK Stadium is set to begin at the end of the month. For Commanders fans hoping the team moves back to D.C., odds may be in their favor. However, there is still not an official deal for where the team will play next season. Plus, attention spring breakers, brush up on your Espanol because Spirit Airlines has announced that starting this spring, a new nonstop flight from BWI Airport to Punta Cana International Airport in the Dominican Republic will be available soon. And Simon Buggs is here with our Monday Sports page, and I hear you have some great stuff to celebrate.
Yes, we do, Michaela. It was a great weekend for some football action. What's going on, everyone? You don't want to miss this because coming right up, my favorite NFL team finally snapped their postseason drought. Stay tuned to find out who made headlines over the weekend after the break. Be right back.
Having low income can mean making tough choices. Choosing between paying for food or medication or a place to live is a reality for many people. Do you know someone who could use some extra help? Find out about the Supplemental Security Income Program, SSI. You could receive monthly SSI payments if your income and financial resources are low and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. SSI is money you can use to help pay for basic needs, like putting food on the table, keeping the lights on, paying the rent. It can mean new shoes for growing feet, or help with medical needs. Call 1-800-772-1213 or visit ssa.gov/SSI to schedule an appointment or start to apply today. That's ssa.gov/SSI. Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
What's going on, sports fans? I'm so pumped about today's sports race, and I don't want to waste any time. Let's get straight to it. We begin with some NFL news as my Washington Commanders took the field yesterday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the wild-card round of the NFL playoffs. And the game was a close one as in the fourth quarter, the Bucs were ahead 17-13, and after a fumble from quarterback Baker Mayfield, Washington's offense took the field again. And Jane Daniels and company went all the way down the field to punch one in to make the score 20-17 with a little under 10 minutes left in the quarter. Now the Buccaneers kicked the field goal soon after to tie the game at 20 apiece. But Washington's offense took the field once again with a chance to win the game as Daniels got the team into field goal territory. And it was a close call, but Zane Gonzalez made the kick and the Commanders won the game in the final seconds, 23-20. Daniels, head coach Dan Quinn, and wide receiver Terry McLaurin all spoke after the game and touched on the team's game-winning drive.
Just the brotherhood and that DQ. I mean, that DQ set, the brotherhood, the togetherness that we have within the locker room. Obviously, you know, the people that have been around us, been in the locker room, you can see how close we are off the field. And we're always hanging around each other. Everybody gets along with each other. So I think those moments, when times get tough, we fall back on those type of moments.
This was 100% the battle we expected. Coming back here 18 weeks ago, they beat us, man, and it wasn't even as close as the score indicated. And so for us to show the improvement that we've made in that time was significant for us. This is a really good team in Tampa, and we knew it would go down all the way to the wire. We had talked about overtime. We had talked about all the winning time moments all week.
I know people may be tired of hearing winning time moments, but that's real, and it shows up. And I think that's what the playoffs is about. You may not play the perfect game, But if you have the ball to go down there and have the chance to win the game, we trust our preparation in the moments that we've been in this year. And to see Jaden continue to just get us in the right calls, execute what Cliff is calling, showing some poise, just taking complete command of the game, complete command of the huddle is I'm fortunate to play with him and see how much he's grown this year.
Man, that was a good game. Washington will travel to the Motor City to take on the #1 seed Detroit Lions in the divisional round on Saturday. Should be a fun one. Meanwhile, the Baltimore Ravens are also in action this weekend, facing off against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the wild card weekend also. And the Purple and Black will be moving on to the divisional round as well, as they took down their arch rival 28-14. A big reason for Baltimore's win was what their recipe to success was all season, their rushing attack. The Ravens recorded 299 yards on the ground, with Pro Bowl back Derrick Henry leading the way with 186 of those. Jackson and head coach John Harbaugh each spoke after the matchup and credited the team's ground game for the win.
That shout out to the offensive line. Shout out to Trav with the game plan. And Derrick. Can't take nothing away from Derrick, man. He's just that guy. But offensive line got great penetration, kept blocking those guys. Great defensive front. Great linebackers, but our guys were just hungry. We know what's at stake for us, and they got it done. Got the job done.
Derrick Henry was running hard, physical. Lamar started it off. Lamar carried the ball different times in the first drive or two. To get backed up to, you talk about good, T-shirt good, and talk about having faith. The little punt gets bobbled, whatever, they get the ball. We get the ball at the 5-yard line, and we go 95 yards for a touchdown. Good. Whatever adversity you're faced with, find a way to overcome it. They did it with execution. They did it with physicality. They did it by playing one play at a time, by being poised, and just understanding it's going to be a long game. There's going to be a lot of plays, and let's try to put as many good plays together as we could. I think it's kind of kept it that simple. So, yeah, the running game makes it possible.
The Ravens will travel to Orchard Park next to take on MVP candidate Josh Allen and the rest of the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. Definitely tune in to that. And sticking with football news, Terps head coach Mike Locksley could be on the move, as it was reported that the New York Jets have interviewed him for their head coach vacancy. Locksley interviewed for the job this past Friday. The 55-year-old ended up on the Jets' radar, given his reputation as a culture builder. Over the past 7 seasons in College Park, Locksley has recorded 32 wins, including 8 wins in 2 of the last 3 seasons. And wrapping up sports, congratulations to tennis star and Maryland native Frances Tiafoe for coming away victorious in the first round of the Australian Open over the weekend. The match wasn't without any challenges, though, for Tiafoe, as a Hyattsville product threw up during the 4th set, which she credited as the result of being overhydrated. But he was able to refocus and win the match in 5 sets against France's Arthur Rinderknecht. The match took 4 hours and 8 minutes to complete. Tiafoe will take the court next against Fabian Morozan tomorrow.
All right, I know that you and all Commanders fans are so excited and proud of the Commanders, but what do you think was the main reason that they came away with the win? Okay, well, one thing, Michaela, is that we did good in the time of possession. We had the ball 35 minutes as opposed to our opponent's 24, and we also ran 69 plays as opposed to our opponent's 44. So we had more opportunities to score, given we were ahead in those 2 categories. And also, I got to credit Jaden Daniels, man. He came up clutch once again, man. That first down he got was key to Zane Gonzalez kicking the field goal. So I'm very happy we got the win, man. Almost 20 years since our last playoff win. Yeah. It's just a great day to be a Commanders fan, man. I'm excited to see what we do against Detroit. Absolutely, Simon. Thanks so much. Of course. All right, let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be mostly clear skies. Tomorrow is going to be sunny with a high of 31. Wednesday will be sunny with a high of 30 and a low of 14. Thursday will reach a high of 35 and it'll be mostly sunny. And for our community calendar, if one of your New Year's resolution is to have a less stressful year, Dr. Gary Spouse, aka the Less Stressed Doc, will be at Busboys and Poets this afternoon. Attendees will discover relatable tips for reducing stress while increasing joy in their daily lives. This event takes place at 6 p.m., but for more information, contact 301-779-2787. And that's all the time we have on CTV News. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night, everybody, and go Commanders.